Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Phillip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Welcome everyone to City Alpha 3. I'm Phillip Gilfus. I'm joined, as always, by my two hosts, Daniel Prue and Darren Moser. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
You know, Star Trek is life.
That's true.
It's like some sort of weird Jem'Hadar Trekkie.
Okay. Actually, I have something really cool. I got to hold the screen-used Sword of Kahless over the weekend.
The screen-used one.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I went to a local prop party out here in Burbank, and the guy had the Sword of Kahless, and he said that he made the original, and so it went and then was used, in the show, and then the guy sent it back to him to like fix it up, to kind of like restore it a little bit, and the guys and then the person said, well, I have like a brand new one I just made like off the mold. I can just give you that one if you let me keep this one. And the guy's like, sure, whatever, so now he has the one used in the episode.
Now, was that used in DS9 or TNG?
That's DS9. That was the one where Jadzia.
Oh, that was the one where they beamed it into space at the end, right?
Yes. Yeah, they weren't ready to keep it.
The episode is literally called
The Sword of Kahless.
Yeah.
I don't know Deep Space Nine titles.
So was it heavy? What was it made out of?
It was pretty light. It had like it was made out of
like
aluminum.
Pure styrofoam.
When Kahless ripped off his hair and plunged it into the river Grethor and twisted it into the blade, it's actually fairly light for what you'd expect. No, it's made out of like aluminum with like foam bits in the tips for safety. But it was actually, it's pretty light. It was really cool though. It's a really cool looking sword.
So when it's not in use to, all the tips have little orange things over the points, so it's in safety.
I had to piece bond it with a bright yellow zip tie, but I figured the albino wouldn't be able to find it. So
that's pretty cool.
This is not Star Trek related, but I did finish Lost in Space season 1 on Netflix. Choo-choo. And I'm
only on episode 5, so I haven't quite finished it yet. But
yeah, so I'll just say I enjoyed it, and I was like, and I wasn't paying attention to the episodes. I mean, it logically when you're watching it in the episode, you're like, oh, I guess this is probably the end. But I was like, oh, they're good. Oh, dang, it's the last episode. Shoot. So anyway, but I'm looking forward to more. So always nice to have good sci-fi on. So if y'all don't have any other Star Trek experiences, I also finished my TOS episode novelizations. It was, again, just like watching TV. I was also not paying attention to when the chapters would end, though the book I knew where it was ending up. But it's sort of in this gold leaf, so you never know how thick it is. But it actually stops midway through season 3. So I was like, I wonder how they're going to do the empath or how they're going to do Turnabout Intruder. And it's like stops midway through. And like, that's the last one.
We're just not going to talk about those.
Yeah. So
I was like, another prop at the prop party. It wasn't something screen used, but it was someone who had made a replica TOS tricorder, but it actually had a really tiny high definition screen in the little screen window. And so you could use the buttons to like play. He had like all the episodes loaded, so you could play any episode.
What what kind of screen would that even? That's like a quarter-inch screen. How do you?
Well, it's actually probably like 3 inches by 2.
Is it really that big?
Like the old tricorders were pretty big.
Yeah, pretty big, but still.
I mean, it's like watching on an iPod video, basically, is what you're watching.
Do you see little flashes of Edith Keeler must die?
No, he did have a little loop of like time period pieces, and I'm like, oh, it's like City on the Edge of Forever,
Mm-hmm.
So
it's much smaller than something like an iPhone would be. Even like
not an iPhone. I said an iPod video.
Oh, yeah, I could see.
Search back into your past, Daniel.
Yeah, I just watched. We're almost finished our Marvel rewatch, and so we watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and they're like, it's
It's called a Zune.
That's what all the kids are listening to on Earth.
That was best. That was so great that it was not an iPod.
Yeah. So and again, not Star Trek related. So we finished with Thor Ragnarok today. We first time we've ever used Redbox. So we got Spider-Man Homecoming, then we watched Thor Ragnarok on Redbox. So only Black Panther left, and then we'll be finally ready. But this is actually the first time I ever saw. Yeah, it's only the first time I've seen Thor Ragnarok. So everything else we'd obviously seen before. But so
did you enjoy it?
It was, and excuse the non-Star Trek stuff, but I didn't not enjoy it. In other words, like I saw what they were doing, but it was a lot of it. And I was like, there's nothing bad with what's going on. It's just too much. And that's not a critique. It just, I guess it was just a lot of like the different tone and whatever, which is good, but it's just like a lot of it. And I was just like, if you watered it down just a little bit, I think I could have. But yeah.
I still like the Willy Wonka tunnel of crazy. That's so
with literally the Willy Wonka music. Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
I love Korg, right? Korg, I think is his name.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was funny. My wife was actually, who's the voice? And I'm like, you know what? I bet you it's the director. And we Googled it, and it's the director.
Yeah. He's hilarious. And of course, this isn't Star Trek, but we're on the topic, guys. This week is Infinity War, so pretty excited about that.
Yeah. I doubt we'll be any opening weekends because again, we still have to Black Panther. Which is that going to drop in theaters? Because it's been, I know of Infinity will not do bad with market share.
That's a good portion. Will they both be in theaters at the same time?
I mean, I hate for this. People aren't going to stop seeing Black Panther, are they? So
I think so.
If anything, it might give a resurgence of it. Of like, oh, now we saw more, and now we want to see more.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Black Panther's been out for about a month and a half at this point, so and
it's not stopped making money.
Although to be Avengers is tracking now to kind of blow everything out of the water at this point.
It's done really well with the pre-sale, which I mean, it's like shock. No one's surprised.
No, nobody's surprised. Yeah. So, but I'm very excited. I'm going Thursday night at 8:30. So. Next week, anybody who's watched it will know who dies.
Yeah. We've been starting, or my wife will be talking. We'll be, watching different things. These past few movies, like, oh no, is he gonna die? Is he gonna die? Is he gonna? So I was like, I don't know. I haven't even watched the trailer yet for Infinity. Because I've heard it stuff, but I'm like, I'd rather. I mean, it's gonna be out soon enough anyway. I don't need to get pumped up or spoil anything. Well, anyway, so we will not be talking about the Marvel Universe, although we may make mentions of it, who knows. But actually what we're going to be talking about is another M word, and that is marriage. We're going to be talking about marriages in Star Trek. That's because, mostly because it's the first wedding anniversary for my wife and I, and we've been spending it a long weekend here at a beach house, and so I thought it'd be only apropos as we go through our own wedding memories of just a year ago to talk about some of the Star Trek marriages. And so, as always, we're going in in-universe order. And
as always.
And I was talking about this with my wife. I'm up for debate whether you guys want to consider this a marriage or not, because I think it is unclear. And that is Lieutenant Stamets and Dr. Culber. I do not know the nature of their relationship. The word partner was used in Star Trek Discovery, which I feel like is a bit of to me, this is a sort of archaic word because it's sort of a pre-legal marriage term, but they used it. So I was like, I don't know. And we saw them brushing their teeth together. And now is that because they're living together or did they just happen to be over that night? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that it would have been made clear if they were married. I assume that they're just in a long-term relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to think back, but I don't think I ever took the time to notice if they were wearing rings or anything like that.
Right.
I assume even
they
if
never use the word husband or things like that, like those words that you would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but even that boyfriend
I
or something.
Agree.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of partner. It's a weird. To me, it's weird because either husband or boyfriend. I mean, partners again. There's only was a word because there was no other word you could use at that time, and so That's why it kind of bumped me the one time they used that. So I don't know. But anyway, I guess, no one else that I know of is married in Star Trek Discovery. Is that correct?
Well, we see Sarek and Amanda, but
That's true. That's true. But yeah. I would, not a main character, but I'll go with it, Daniel.
That's true. There is nobody else. Well, it's kind of a young crew.
Well, I mean, you have. No, isn't. Oh Lordy, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. The Shinzu captain. Well, okay, in the novel verse, and I know whatever. I think they say she's divorced in the novels, but I guess there's no mention of that in the actual show. So,
are you saying Jojo? Is Jojo married?
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, in any of the novels I've read, she doesn't sound like she's married.
Yeah, I think she was divorced in the novels, but I can't. But again, I'm not going to count that.
I don't think we know anything about Saru's, like even his like customs, or that's going to be a season 2 episode where we find out he has 12 wives,
the families,
whatever. So I don't think we've gotten to that point yet.
It's like Prime Lorca. We don't know if
everybody under Saru is like 25. So
yeah,
it kind of makes sense that it's just a younger crew.
Yeah, because I remember that was one of the
things. We got the party deck.
The disco deck, yeah. Because married people do not disco deck.
No,
they don't. We do not. That doesn't. But yeah, because I remember when we were talking about what we were looking for, hoping for in Discovery, so many moons ago, one of your Earth moons ago. I think one of the things I had said is like, man, I hope they have a married couple, and they don't. And no one's really family oriented per se. So.
Even an older person, I think, would be nice. Maybe a Discovery is a little ageist. I'm not sure they don't have anybody that's,
it's all about F-bombs and getting high and dancing in the disco, Daniel. That's Discovery. But anyway, okay. But yeah, this is the only thing I could really think about. So, and even if they were married, certainly they no longer are married now for Lieutenant Stamets.
Yeah. No, trust me, Philip. You'll see. It'll be totally worth it. It'll be completely.
I've been seeing. What's his name? Wilson Cruz? Am I making up that?
Yeah,
I think that's that he's been tweeting something about doing season 2 stuff. But I mean, whatever. It's going to be a flashback. I'm not.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. Okay. Well, moving on to the TOS, or at least the TOS realm, including the movies and everything else. Married characters also a little short to come by. Again, I don't know if you want to do Sarek and Amanda again.
Well, Spock gets married. Well, almost married.
Yeah, almost married.
Isn't Kirk married to the what? No, but in the one where he's like wearing Native American garb.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and the indigenous people's Paradise Syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We can count that. Well, even though he doesn't. Anyway, but yeah, Kirk does get married. Yes, we'll say that, and then. After, tearing apart that culture, his pregnant wife then dies. So, there you go.
He was also about to ask Antonia to marry him. And then didn't.
And do things right.
Yeah.
Then Butler got in the way and it all went to hell.
Other than
this is not your bedroom.
It's better.
Yeah, not a lot of married characters.
Yeah, which is, no, I mean, there's certainly familial, in other words, Sulu has a daughter. I mean, not saying you have to be married to have children, obviously, but one can guess maybe that eventually Sulu married or had Demora somehow.
Well, we do see, I mean, if you're talking,
establish it.
Well, but I was going to say, if you're technically talking in universe order, you could jump to JJ and...
Oh, yes. Actually, I skipped Enterprise. Sorry about that. We'll go back to it.
Wait, in JJ, though, I mean, they have a relationship and they have a daughter, but I don't think it's ever made clear that they're married either.
Oh, the Sulus? Oh, yeah. That's true. Whether I mean, you shouldn't always assume, but I guess, the Sulu is married in the JJ verse and has a daughter. Yeah.
He's space married.
Yes. He's space married or
whatever they call that.
It's complicated on Spacebook.
Space. So no one else in TOS again, which I find is, and I don't know, because I guess we didn't go as family as stories until DS9. But anyway, but no one else is married. That's a little, I feel like that says a lot without saying a lot. I know there's always like, oh, you can always have the romance of the week, but Chekhov had his
married
one.
to the Enterprise, just not legally.
Well, not yet, but we've been pushing, Daniel, and one day.
If you let him get married to a ship, what's next? What's next?
And then does he then get married to the Enterprise A? Is that considered like marrying the daughter or something? I don't know. It's
incestuous.
or sister. Even that might be weird. Sistership. So,
don't skip Enterprise, Philip.
I know. I'm sorry. Well, now we did have the marriage for a second in Balance of Terror, but then the husband got killed during the Rhineland attack.
Oh, so. Literally, that was like the cold open. Yeah, right. Yeah. Awkward.
Yeah. I'll see it. And, well, I guess it, I don't know. In other words, I'm not trying to, but like Spock and Savick, I don't know if there was a marriage ceremony that they were going through on Genesis, but in any case.
No, that was not. That does not count.
That was not.
That was just touching fingers.
Well, sometimes it's, yeah.
They were parking. Or the Vulcan equivalent.
That's funny. Yeah. Again, so far we're at 0 for the most part. We did get a little, I'm talking about more than one episode. So I mean, I'm not saying we can't mention it, but still 0. So let's go to Enterprise.
Well, you did skip Enterprise, Phillip.
Right.
So I mean,
so Enterprise. T'Pol was married.
Phlox was married.
Phlox was married multiple times. So
ding, 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 counter goes
so
up
he's
a
running
lot.
up the score.
Yeah.
Is this like the game of basketball where Phlox has to play on both teams for?
And we got to meet one of his wives.
That's right.
Which I can't remember her name, but she was great. What was her name? So yeah, T'Pol married.
Yeah, to what was it? I want to say Stom, but that's not right. That's a mock time, but I can't remember. It started with an S.
Boring dude.
Yeah, but yeah, and they were married for what, like a season?
Not that long, I don't think. It was just an arc, wasn't it?
Well, I mean,
I think they were married in between seasons, like between the end of one season and the beginning of the next.
Well, no, we saw the marriage ceremony because Trip was there. That was the awkward thing. Yeah. So, because that was, I'm trying to remember, was that the end of the Xindi arc? That doesn't make sense. It would be that light, but maybe it was. Because I remember they were at home and it was sort of the meet the parents, and yeah. So, but yeah, so that was
that tracks, because then I think that led into when Archer was on Vulcan and he was doing the whole discovering the teachings of, Sarek and all that stuff,
or Serac.
Serac.
Yeah.
I mean, Spock's dad's popular, but not quite that popular.
And judging from some Discovery events, I don't know if you'd really want to learn a lot from him, as far as moral teachings go.
So we got 2 in Enterprise.
But of course, with T'Pol, it was a long distance with a understanding marriage, So let's not talk to each other.
So far, what we're learning is aliens are married, but humans are not.
Apparently,
because that's how we're. But we're about to get on the ship of the families. So yeah. I think
now, did anyone? I don't know. Someone can look up actually how many marriages that Phlox had, or how many wives. Yeah. So just so we can actually run up the numbers here. Because we need it at this point. But yeah, so going into the 24th century, I don't know, other than the one we're going to talk about, which was a minor character, even though he won't be later.
Riker's not a minor character, but...
So yeah, I was thinking Riker Troy, but I mean,
it counts.
It counts. We totally see him get married. We go to the wedding.
We see the wedding.
Well, we didn't see anyone naked.
And Riker gets married one other time. Of course, it's not real, but he does get married.
It's real, Daniel. It's real.
And just as an aside, this is interesting. Phlox has 3 wives, but each of his 3 wives has 2 other husbands. Right. So it's a bit of a complicated web that they weave.
What do you call the fellow husbands? Are they husbands-in-law?
I wonder.
Bro-in-laws.
You would think that they would have a special word for it.
See, I would love to see the Big Love spinoff with Phlox.
I like Phlox. Phlox is good stuff.
Yeah. So, but TNG. So you guys are arguing. Riker Troy. I mean, I'm not, but like we never saw the marriage. We saw Nemesis, which, yeah.
He was Mr. Troy. We all know it happened. I was thinking, does Loxana get married in Half a Life?
Yeah, that was kind of short.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
No, the only time she was married, other than, of course, to Deanna's father, was with the Deep Space Nine guy.
Odo?
No. Well, yes, technically, but I was talking about the guy who's when she was pregnant.
Right.
Presumably she was married to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The guy who played the Klingon.
Yeah, everybody that was married is like their partner's dead.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
that's
yeah.
true,
Crusher was married, or Beverly.
Crusher's dead.
Right.
Widower. Or widow.
Loxana's husband was dead. What was his name?
Ian.
Yes, I was going to say Andrew, but yeah, you're right, Ian. Now, of course, Miles and Keiko.
Oh yes, and we see their wedding. Yep,
we do actually see their wedding. And it's interesting. As far as the O'Brien, I can't remember her last name / whatever her last name is, marriage. Like a little bit with in The Wounded, of course. Because O'Brien's quote unquote a minor character, for lack of a better term, but. The Wounded, we see him and her talking about the Cardassian.
Are you saying that's more of a DS9 marriage than a TNG win?
Exactly.
Well, it technically is, and maybe
we see the birth of their child. Worf definitely does.
I don't remember when the other child gets married. I can't remember. But anyways,
you mean born? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, Matrix Hero was involved in a little bit.
Oh God, that was so stupid. By all accounts. That's actually the most fleshed out marriage
marriage,
in Star Trek. At least the
which isn't saying a lot, but it is, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a bit TNG, so yeah, no, I'm trying to think anyone else, even just like Data, Geordi,
Picard gets married and then divorced, and we don't even get to see any of that to Crusher.
Oh, well, that's true. Again, yeah, that's. You don't even see that marriage.
Does it count if he has the memories of being married from the inner light?
Oh
yeah. Well, yeah.
I think what we're learning is that marriage is hard to define in any century.
It's like the economics.
Well, I was actually going to bring that up, and I don't know if I'll wait till the end, but I have a theory on why this is the case. But
tax purposes. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I'm not skipping anyone in TNG. Usually, being at the beach house is not my Trek room. Usually, I have action figures in front of me that I can look at for references if I need any troubles. Well, Guinan was married a couple times, but not currently. Pulaski was married and divorced a couple times, but again, she wasn't married when we saw her.
And we know Riker's dad obviously was married at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can't think of anyone as long as leaving anyone off on TNG. So again, pretty low score here.
Oh,
what do you got?
Ogawa gets engaged.
That's true. Andrew, I think is his name.
I don't remember his name, but
yeah.
Well, and do they get married because she's pregnant in Genesis? Because remember,
that's how evolution works.
Well, no, because or was it? Is it? I'm trying to remember.
No, you're right.
Is it Genesis? Because they're de-evolving, so she loses the baby, but then it comes back.
No. That's All Good Things, is what you're.
All Good Things. That's what I'm thinking of.
But she is pregnant in Genesis because they use her amniotic fluid to.
That's
spray.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
A lot of rewatches have to take place. Daniel, where are you in your rewatch? Have you watched another episode?
I haven't. I've missed this week.
You're a terrible person.
I know.
All right, moving on. That's why you're not married. All right, so so now to DS9. So DS9, obviously Ben was married, but his wife died. But then he got married again.
He did, in fact. So
even though the prophets forbade it.
Because they're just a bunch of wet blankets.
That's why the Pares were all like, "Hey, dude, get married to whoever you want. We don't even care."
So we got to. We got to see. I'm blanking on her name.
When Jadzia has been married before, Dax has.
But what is Cisco's Yates Cassidy? Sorry.
Yeah.
But Ben Cassidy had their marriage. Because I'm trying to think I don't know. We saw
There's one wedding that we didn't get invited to. I mean, you do have Worf and Jadzia.
Yeah, but it's more than the wedding, though. I mean, like the actual marriage is what I'm interested in. So it's like with Cassidy and Ben. I think you saw ups and downs, especially with the prophets and the job, and him trying to do the role of Starfleet captain, her role as captain too, and then eventually she gets pregnant, and then he leaves her, which that's not nice. But no, I always imagined her baby got short shift. I like. Does the Cisco baby have a storyline in the novel verse or something? Because I always feel like why'd she get pregnant? Like, what purpose did that serve the story?
Because Cisco forgot to take his
injection,
but I see what you're saying. Like story wise, like did she get pregnant so that it was more impactful that Cisco chose to leave? I don't know.
Well, no, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was an accidental baby.
But I mean,
I think the writers,
but the story writers made a choice.
They didn't accidentally write the word "baby" on the page.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you were trying to justify why she.
No.
And I was like, no. I don't know.
Meant like, why do that towards the very end of season 7, and then he chooses to leave?
I mean, why Ezri it?
Avery had a real big problem with that too, because he didn't want to,
abandon the family. Yeah,
he didn't want to just leave a child behind like that.
Because I feel like so much, and I realize I'm a white guy talking about this, but the role of black men and being fathers, is obviously an important subject. I'm sure it is for Avery, and so I think that's very important of why Jake and Ben had such a strong relationship, because you don't often see that, unfortunately, on screen depicted well, and I think that's what was so good. And then of course to be at the 7th season and be like, and she's has a baby and he's gone now, and it's kind of like, well, antithetical to what we've just established for the past 6.5 years here.
Well, not just Jake and Ben too. Jake, Ben, and Papa Cisco. I can't remember his name.
Admiral Trader.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway,
he changed his name and he became a jambalaya cook
they'll never find me
to escape the system.
I think
or maybe that's his penance, because prisons work a little bit different in the Federation. So.
Yeah, like you get shipped off to New Zealand and whatever. I do think that the marriage of Cisco and Cassidy is very strong. Like, except for the maybe the baby bit. I liked how it was presented, and it seemed like they were both. It fit well, and the relationship was strong. I really enjoyed the character of Cassidy Yates and kind of what she brought to the relationship. So it's one of those times where for like very brief, especially for season 6, season 7 of Deep Space Nine, you get a little glimpse of happiness, and then of course the writers have to rip it away from you, and you can't have it. So
can't be happy. Speaking of which, Worf and Jadzia.
Yep.
But which you mentioned, but I mean, their actual, got to see the relationship evolve. But I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, theirs was more seeing the relationship as opposed to seeing the marriage.
I was gonna say, how long were they married? I mean, was it
half a season? I think.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
Yeah, because I mean,
You're Cordially Invited was the episode,
right? And then the last episode of season 6 when she dies, because you can't be happy.
You're Cordially Invited was the episode 7 of season 6, so about 2/3 of a season.
Yeah, so at least married for most of the season.
Yep.
That was back when seasons were real seasons, and then 26 episodes each.
Yeah. So,
as to say, Lost in Space would be like 2 episodes later. And she's dead.
Because they were that last episode, just because killing her is not enough. Let's have them talk about having children. That'll really rip the gut out, or the worm out in this case, slug out. So I guess they were getting to the point of talking about family. So that was their sort of marriage evolving. But it was interesting. Obviously, they're an odd pair, but they seem to work. They have Klingon in common.
I wish she stuck around for almost every reason conceivable, but I also wish that she stuck around so she could have come to the Enterprise E with Worf and Nemesis.
I'm also trying to figure out what a half Klingon, half Trill would look like.
Yeah, Spotty and
Ridgey. I bet you it keeps Alexander up at night.
Now, could they still be would they be open to joining, or it's the half Klingon DNA mess it up?
Well, they
I
wouldn't.
don't. Yeah, I don't think she'd be. I think you have to be full Trill.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think-
but we learned it's all claptrap anyway in that one episode of basically anyone can be
true.
joined.
That's true.
So.
Speaking of Deep Space Nine characters, we also have Rom and Lita.
That's true. Yes.
Oh, you're right. That's right. Negus Rom, you mean the Grand
Well,
Negus?
he wasn't Nagus when they got married.
Yeah, he was
You know,
just
she loved him before he had his wealth and power. So that's
assistant to the engineer. Third shift.
That's true. We had a pretty good arc with them and their relationship and marriage. And Rom. Who would have thought Rom would have been such a big character?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially because they sort of changed that character through the series, which was interesting to watch. But anyway, yeah. And so, I mean, as much as I'll rag DS9, they obviously are a little bit more, as much as we talk about next gen being family friendly, I think DS9 may actually be more competitive in being family friendly, or as relationships and series that it shows.
But you're right. I mean, it's had definitely way more marriages and families in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we already brought it up, but we get the majority of the relationship between O'Brien and Keiko from.
Although I didn't even realize it, though, this was Rom's second marriage because he has a son.
That's
true. That's true. Right. She left him, apparently.
She did.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the story is on that.
Can you imagine leaving the future head of the Ferengi?
Yeah, no, she's feeling stupid. But yeah, as we say, so Miles and Keiko. Yeah, and I think it was. I don't think any of the marriages they showed, except they were all aliens for the most part. But I don't think any of the marriages they showed were unrealistic. They were just, you didn't necessarily get the whole picture. I think with Miles and Keiko, you got a little bit more of the day-to-day life of the marriage, the ins and outs, the boring, the not boring, your child goes back in time, is now a caveman. Those typical marriage stories.
I want to get a cat. You don't want the cat. What do we do? That sort of
What
thing.
do we do when our child falls through time? I mean, that's just, what do we do?
Yeah. It's things you got to work out. And then suddenly you're pregnant, but my commanding officer now has our baby inside her belly. Those typical things.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah. And I just think that relationships with surrogates it was an interesting thing, I suppose, there. But anyway, and we're not talking about the marriages of actual cast members, but so now Voyager. It was funny. I was talking to my wife, and I was going to skip that one. She's like, wasn't it one ones that had like the kid with the little bumps in their head? I'm like, what? Oh, B'Elanna and Tom. So yeah.
Well, yeah. There's B'Elanna and Tom. There's was Janeway was engaged.
Engaged.
And then you have Naomi.
Yep.
I mean, her mother Samantha. Well,
right. Yep.
would have been married.
Yeah, until she disappeared.
And of course, they didn't get married, but
Tuvok was married.
7 of 9 and Chakotay.
That does not count.
Yeah, but Tuvok was married.
Yeah, it's true. Tuvok was happily married.
Well,
Tuvok
was married.
Tuvok never had any drama with his family or anything like that.
Well, they weren't around, but no. Well, I mean, they did explore some. I mean, not a lot, obviously, but there were some episodes where he would mention them, especially once they were getting letters home. But even before that, there was the holodeck part with Tom. But nevertheless, I mean, it's established he has a wife and family, and he talks of them and all that stuff.
And Neelix, I mean, we don't see him get married, but he basically joins that family at the very end with the mom and the kid.
Mm-hmm. Kind of
so I could feel marriage would be. I can't see the Talaxians not being a marriage-focused culture, so I could see that happening pretty quickly.
Well, I think he would have married Kes and Caretaker if he could have, but
right.
Yeah, she was playing things slow.
Considering her lifespan, that seems an odd choice.
I will say though that the Tom and B'Elanna stuff feels like the slowest burn that we get in terms of a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
We actually get to see the start of the actual relationship all the way through to the child. Whereas, and I guess you kind of do with something like Cassidy and Cisco, but that was like in 2 seasons or 3 seasons, but this is like from season 1 to season 7, like a complete relationship sort of storyline that worked really well.
Yeah, and again, a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes it's a little crazy with what they're doing, but sometimes it's just normal.
Well, I remember we have that kind of half backstep episode where it was actually the other duplicate crew, and we see the wedding, but then they like float apart. It's like, oh, sad,
because then we never actually got to see the B'Elanna Tom real wedding.
But didn't we see them going on their honeymoon with the barrels behind the Delta Flyer?
Yeah,
because that makes sense.
Totally makes sense, Daniel. Totally makes
gravity.
Sense. Yeah, I know. Then they pause for a second, and then they hear like bam, 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 bam. Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah, barrels.
Cans are in the impulse intake. But yeah, I don't know. And any other marriages? I don't know. I get. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just thought of
Morn. Was he married? Is that what you're gonna say, Dan?
Was Morn married? I don't remember them saying.
He seems like he's a heartbreaker.
I was thinking of the Doctor and his fake wife.
Oh, in Family or not? Whatever. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Real life. Yeah.
And does it count in All Good Things that wasn't Geordi married to Leah?
He was.
That's true. Which was
he finally wore her down.
And killed her husband.
Well, he just learned the trick from Picard. So, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I think a lot of times it seems, not often, because we did name some good ones in Deep Space Nine and even in Voyager, but it would be nice to see a married couple in Star Trek. Whether it's, the 2 are main characters or just, a main character and a secondary character, instead of just like, they're married for an episode, never mind, they're back to normal now. Or, they were divorced in the future, or they're married in an alternate future. It's like, it just seems unusual when you start doing the numbers. It's like, guys, come on now. It doesn't have to be everyone, and I get it. We're all supposed to be young and having new relationships of the week, but still.
So I do have a theory about this, Philip.
Okay, what is it?
Much like the economics of the 24th century are very different. Mm-hmm. I think the social constructs of the 24th century are very different. So we've talked in the past about the relationship between Troy and Riker and how weird do you think that relationship is. Yeah. But I feel like that's kind of maybe the default for a lot of people. That's why divorce seems to come pretty casually to all these people, or they're not married at all. They just have different relationships. It strikes me that in the Star Trek universe, you would have a compelling. It's not the default to get married to somebody in the way that it would be kind of in our culture. It's more of an exception, a remarkable sort of relationship, or something that's is a little more rare than it would be in our day and age.
But and I'd be fine with that, except then you still have to show me how people have children. In other words, how do people show people in a? I mean, one would think you're in a long committed relationship if you have children, but I'll just take, if we're really going to go future freaky, that we were in a committed relationship for 10 years, had a kid, and then broke up and see each other on the space weekends or whatever. But something.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a lot of broken families. And I'm.
That's true. What's the family construct? Because it's like, you need something that's there that's raising these children.
That's the Federation, Darren. Federation takes care of our kids.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Very Walden.
Turn a child over to the state, not what I'm his captain.
It takes a Federation to raise a child.
That's true. And it's obviously in the future. You don't, as the data example, which of course is a weird example, but you can have children on your own. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but it's saying, it does seem odd that there's not more showing of committed relationships.
It's a great question too, but I also think that, and I joke, but or like you mentioned, single parents, Philip. I think it's tremendous. It's way easier to take care of a child on your own in Star Trek time, where you don't have to literally don't have to worry about food or clothing or anything like that, because it's all just provided for you. That's not the issue. Like you say, it would be an interesting avenue for them to explore what kind of social constructs would be created to fill some of those gaps. But maybe maybe none's needed. I don't know. Like, I agree that having a healthy married couple on each show seems to be something that you would just, one of those boxes you would just check. Like, oh yeah, these people are just married and we don't ever have to like put them into, the drama just for drama's sake. But as a concept overall, it makes sense to me that, especially for people who are like literally traveling around the galaxy for their job, it's got to be pretty difficult to maintain that sort of relationship.
Yeah, because I would think, like, theoretically, when TNG started to do this whole families are all aboard, I can understand, quote unquote, the TOS.
Like, that's the point, of having. I mean, and TOS makes sense in the fact that it's the 60s. So, yeah, of course Kirk gets married before they have a kid. It's the 60s. You can't not do that. Mm-hmm. Just the time period.
David.
That was the 70s.
Very different.
Really, it was the 80s, but it's because it's 82 with Rathacon, but nevertheless. So, but yeah. So I don't know any predictions of I don't know. No one's going to get married in Star Trek Discovery season 2. You think? No,
all the relationships aren't doing so hot, so I don't really see that happening in season 2.
Well, I'm curious whether this is going to be a weird example, but it's the one that comes to mind, so it'll be weird. So, like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when Willow lost Tarot, which is dumb, but anyway, whatever. We had the kind of Terror replacement in the last season of Buffy, who was kind of blah, but whatever. But I'm just thinking, in season 2 of Discovery, I feel like there may be a push for a new love interest for Stamets, just because of like, you killed the only couple that we really kind of enjoyed. So, but
oh no, trust me, it'll be totally justified. Just the writers. I hope that Robo Lady gets married to some Robo dude.
Or she is already, and it's revealed finally. We learn more of her backstory.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd be cool. I don't see them doing it because Discovery, but I would be cool with them adding like a middle-aged married couple, just that goes about doing their
Bob and Laura, just some really really generic names. Yep. I work in one of the 80 science labs, and she works in.
I work in Science Lab 3. She works in Science Lab 84. So,
yeah, but because it's on a circle, they're actually right next to each other. So it's fortunate.
So yeah, I was just thinking when the saucer spins, does it always stop in the same place? Because you get out of your office, you're like, what the crap am I?
It's like the Hogwarts. Ship is always changing on the inside.
It's like Hogwarts steps. You never know.
That'd be pretty adorable if you were on different concentric rings in there, and you could see Bob can see Laura in the window. And, oh no, we're moving.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. You know how there's windows out of the inner rings to the outer rings, and they can actually see across to each other. They wave, and they're like, "Oh, look, my wife's doing some research. Oh, how cute!"
See, that's a short story of a couple meeting, falling in love, and getting married because they worked across from each other in the windows, and so they never had any action other than seeing each other, and then
So every time
they're on their first date, and all of a sudden, it's like black alert, and they're like, "Dang it!" It's like the spores are starting to drip everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say every time black alert comes, most people are just terrified that it's like, are we going to get blown up? But these two are like, oh no, our windows are going to be taken away from each other.
They're like, should we have a pet? And then the whole tardigrade incident happens, and they're like, nope, we're good, no pets.
Oh, goodness. Because then I think it gets into the interesting... I'm trying to remember if they've ever addressed it. I'm sure they have. So, when you get married, you get new quarters, right? You put in for your quarters assignment to,
Well, let's just change one of the 85 science labs into a new set of quarters, and we're good,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Because then I wonder how do you lay out, when you're engineering a starship, how many single billets and how many married billets,
Well, technically, if you had the main billet we see is like Michael and Tilly's, but you could easily fit 2 people in there. It's a double billet, but those are officer quarters, though.
Well, no, they're not because they're cadet.
They're not officers. Neither.
Yeah, they're.
Oh, you're right.
They're crew quarters.
Did we see? Oh, we did. We saw the captain's quarters when Admiral lady
Cornwall.
Cornwall.
Yes.
Thank you. I always want to say Cornwallis, and I know that's not right.
Had
when
her
she
discussion with him.
spends the night with Lorca, so we do see the captain's quarters, but I don't think we see. Oh, and then of course the Stamets and
Well, we see their bathroom.
yeah, we see their
Culvert.
bathroom.
Well, of course, I'm assuming whose is whose, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I guess it would have to. It was the doctor's, because when Stamets goes into his head,
Right.
he goes into
Yeah.
that.
In his mirror head.
Yeah. His mirror head inside the mycelial network.
Yeah.
It's like when you fold a piece of paper and then you fold it again, and it's just like, what sides are next to each other? I don't know.
I don't know. We don't get a lot of slice of life stuff in Discovery, so I wouldn't expect.
There's no
I wouldn't
time, Daniel. There's no time.
wouldn't
This thing's
expect-
serialized. I got another story to go to. Oh boy. But anyway.
Yeah, I am interested though about Saru, because all I can think of is, as a prey species, you'd think to support a larger predator species, you'd have to have a lot of you.
Yeah, it's sort of like gazelles.
So
or
like a
something.
clutch.
Yeah, group up.
Well, I would think he would have to spawn pretty frequently then, right? He would have to go upriver.
Guys, I've already told you, Saru's pregnant. I keep telling you guys, and you don't believe me, that's the twist. Season 2.
We haven't seen any female Kelpians. The only other Kelpians we've seen.
So Kelpians
Do they?
are like seahorses, where the
Yeah.
father git's pregnant. I actually could buy that.
We don't know anything about the genders of Kelpians, so let's throw that out there.
That's true. It's true.
Because I mean, when in the Mirror universe, I couldn't really tell the difference, and I don't know.
That's
Especially
true.
not-
They almost look like clones in the Mirror universe. They all looked really similar.
Well, they were
Yeah.
on Camino at that point, I think, right?
Well, no, that was on the bridge of the
That was a Star
Chimera.
Wars joke, Darren. You were supposed to get it.
I mean,
That
they
wasn't
all,
a very good Star Wars.
they all taste the same too. So I mean, really,
Sure.
we went there. Oh well. Well, if we've missed any notable or even not notable marriages in Star Trek, please let us know. You can find me at NC Public Servant, and you can ask me how my wonderful 1-year anniversary went. But Darren, if people want to ask you about Star Trek marriage advice, where can they find you?
Don't ask me about Star Trek marriage advice, but if they want to talk about Star Trek, anything else, they can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and my website, drsci-fi.com.
And Daniel, if people want to talk to you about social relationships in the 24th century, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at @OneUpDan, the number one, as in I'm the only one here not married, guys.
Yep, we noticed. All right. Well, speaking of which, Daniel, what are we talking about next week?
So I decided to take a new twist here. I'm going to talk
It
about
has to be about Star Trek.
the parents of our Star Trek. No, I'm not. I was kidding. It's just, actually, no. Next week is a surprise topic because I haven't come up with it yet. But I'm sure it'll be something Star Trekky, and we'll have a lot of fun with it. Actually, you know what? Scrap it. We'll be talking about Infinity War next week. So no.
We'll find some sort of connection, some connection.
What would be each gem discovered in each Star Trek series?
Ooh, we could do something with the gems. That would be fun. Okay.
And so
I'll
I don't
come
know
up with
who-
something.
Yeah,
But Q, so is Q Thanos?
I don't know. I feel like it's too easy. It'd have to be someone else. The Borg Queen or something.
Oh, and then does Anorax have the time stone?
Oh, that makes sense. We could do
So, okay, I think we should pause because otherwise we're going to do the whole episode right now. So.
that.
All right. Yeah. Well, until next week, I'm Philip Gilfus,
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Daniel Prue.
and this is us stranded forever on City Alpha 3.